This week on Wardens.
4 people, 2 life jackets, so I had no problem writing that. They have a number of drownings out here each year.
Conservation officers from Michigan's District 9 patrol a busy summer lake party.
We got more rescues right now we're trying to deal with, get people out of the water first, and then we'll come back and deal with the crashes.
And personnel from the Parks and Rec Division help remove diseased trees from Belle Isle State Park.
Helicopters lifting them directly out of the woods rather than dragging them or setting up infrastructure to move them out of this sensitive area.
Wild animals and wild places. They're more than a picture. They're inspiration, excitement, and adventure. Patrolling and protecting these natural resources is a first-class band of peace officers. These are the Wardens, dedicated to the preservation of our great outdoors. In the southeastern part of Michigan, and also a part of Ontario, Canada, sits a 430 square mile body of water that's part of the Great Lakes system, but not one of the Great Lakes. Lake St. Clair has an average depth of 11 feet and is a recreational wonderland that offers tremendous opportunities for outdoor activities year-round.
Lake St. Clair is well known for its recreational boating opportunities, whether that's skiing, tubing, or just driving around in your boat. There's a lot of large boats out there that like to race around. It's also really known for its fishing. It has some of the top fishing in the state and around the world in the United States. Some of that is bass fishing for smallmouth bass in particular. There's also Great Lakes muskie. It's really known for its Great Lakes muskie. There's walleye and lake sturgeon that can be caught in and around the lake as well.
Each year, thousands of boats gather around Gull Island in Lake St. Clair on the last Friday in June as part of something called Jabby Nuner.
So back in late 70s, some guys from the GM plant down in Detroit just decided that one Friday afternoon they were gonna leave work and head out to Gull Island and have a little party. And so 17 guys or 17 boats went out there and started off the event, and basically ever since then it's just been a growing party.
The Law Division of Michigan's DNR is just one of several law enforcement organizations patrolling Jabby Nuner.
Customs and Border over there, you got Canadian, Marine Division, they're all out here.
Some of the COs manning this patrol are Chris Knights, who will be patrolling from a boat for most of the day, and Jamie Salisbury and Joe Deppen, who will predominantly be working from jet skis in the state's District 9. After navigating for about 20 minutes to Gull Island from where they put their vessels into the water, the COs survey the party atmosphere that's already in full swing.
So every year it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then years have gone by, but now it's not just factory workers, now it's just general public. People take days off from work, and they come out here, and basically it's a adult skip day, pretty much.
It doesn't take long for them to spot an issue with a boat.
Who's the owner of the boat? All right, you got a 2019 sticker on your boat right now, you're expired. You have a new registration for it? March 31st of this year.
Oh, man.
You got your ID on you?
Yeah, I'm gonna grab it right now. The chances of me finding it, I'm gonna look, but I probably don't have it.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'm gonna run your registration numbers.
Okay.
If you have one and you're just not showing the sticker, that's fine, I'll let it go. But if you don't, I'm gonna issue a citation for unregistered watercraft.
Yep.
What I would need you to do first, though, I need to see a life jacket for everybody on board, all right?
Underneath all your seats are all like this. Back here too? No, only up here.
Hey guys, let's do this. Before we do anything, let's back up so we're not running into traffic. All right?
The boat driver has several guests on his vessel, but does have enough life jackets for everyone.
Hey guys, you don't have to wear them, just put them on just so I can make sure everybody has one, all right?
What he doesn't have is a valid registration for his boat. Meanwhile, Officer Deppen is on his jet ski closer to Gull Island, in amongst the rows of boats anchored side by side. He encounters a man who is unconscious.
How much have you had to drink?
And appears to have had too much to drink. He teams up with the St. Clair County Sheriff's Department to remove the man from the boat and get him on his way to the hospital.
People on the boat who flagged us over said there was intoxicated male on the boat and he was unresponsive and they wanted us to take a look at him. He didn't respond to verbal commands or sternum rub, and from that point out, we decided to call Clay Township Medical. They came in, we transferred into their medical boat. still was unresponsive, and they transferred him to the hospital. He had too much to drink for the day, and you know, it's one of those things that happens out there when you party all day long.
Still patrolling from his jet ski, Officer Deppen spots another jet ski that has 4 people on it, but only 2 life jackets.
What are the life jackets?
I don't know, they just hopped on. They wanted to ride to their dad's boat.
Michigan's conservation officers spend much of their time enforcing and educating the public about the game and fish laws, but there are many other duties they perform to keep the state's residents and visitors safe. In the southeastern part of the state and on the border with Ontario, Canada, sits Lake St. Clair.
Lake St. Clair is 26 miles long and 24 miles wide, and it is shared with Canada. It's in between Lake Huron and Lake Erie, connecting with the St. Clair River and the Detroit River. So it's in between 2 of our Great Lakes, and it's flowing through those 2 rivers down into Lake Erie. It's one of the largest bodies of water outside of our Great Lakes. It's larger than any of the other inland lakes in the state, and so it just draws a lot more of activity and attention because of its size.
Each year since the 70s, on the last Friday in June on Gull Island in Lake St. Clair, hundreds and sometimes even thousands of boats gather for an event called Jabby Nuner. It's an event that began when some auto workers decided to take an afternoon off and all go out on their boats. Conservation Officer Chris Knights has encountered another boat that's not displaying an up-to-date registration sticker.
How you doing, sir? Conservation Officer, you have an expired registration. Do you have a new one? Okay, well, you're still expired. You got your driver's license on you? Oh. Do you know if you registered and you just didn't remember, or what?
He's from California.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a kind of screwed up year. We had our pipe freeze, so we didn't come till June.
All right, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'll run your registration.
Okay.
And if it does come back where you do have a valid registration, you're good to go, okay? If you don't, I'm gonna issue a citation, which is just a civil infraction. It's basically equates to a parking ticket, and I'll allow you to stay out here for the rest of the day.
Great.
Does that sound fair? All right, let me run your registration, and we'll go from there, okay?
Okay.
And showing expired March of 19.
Clear.
In this case, the boater was found responsible and paid a court-ordered fine of $130.
I'll let you go on that for the rest of the day.
Okay.
So if you get pulled over again, show them the citation.
All right.
Officer Knights, my name's at the bottom, and you'll be good to go for the day, all right?
Thank you.
Do you have any questions for me?
I don't.
Sir, you have any questions for me?
No.
All right, guys, be safe, okay? Be careful.
While CO Knights mans the DNR's boat, Officer Joe Deppen is patrolling from a jet ski and has stopped another jet ski that had 4 people on it, but with only 2 life jackets. In Michigan, every occupant of a personal watercraft must be wearing a life jacket. The driver of the jet ski says that he and his friend welcomed the 2 females onto his vessel to help them find the boat that belongs to the father of one of them. Officer Deppen gets another law enforcement vessel to assist the ladies in getting back to the boat they're looking for, and then addresses the issue with the driver of the jet ski.
Either have extra life jackets on board, or tell her no.
Not me. Did not even cross my mind.
A lot of people let me slide today, but safety's not one of them.
4 people, 2 life jackets, so I have no problem writing that. We have a number of drownings out here each year. Life jackets, if you're wearing it and wearing it properly, then the drowning rates go down.
Zip up your life jacket at one time, and then put your in the cold water that comes off.
Be strong.
Busting out.
If you're wearing a life jacket and it's not zipped up or it's not secured properly and you fall off the boat and you're intoxicated and your life jacket falls off, you have a higher chance of drowning.
Civil infraction for not having enough life jackets for everybody on board. You got your lanyard attached to you, that's good. Taking boater safety, I'm taking you at your word on that.
In this case, for not providing enough life jackets to everyone aboard his vessel, the driver pled responsible and paid a court-ordered fine of $90. As morning turned to early afternoon during this patrol, the conservation officers on duty began to hear reports that the weather could take a turn.
It might start downpouring on us too here pretty quick.
Fast forward, fast
Is it raining where you're at? Okay.
And report of an incoming squall with up to 60 miles per hour wind, accompanied with up to 1 inch hail. Please be advised.
Belle Isle is a state park in Detroit in the southeastern corner of Michigan. When dozens of trees there got infected with oak wilt, the DNR acted quickly to curb the spread of the disease.
We're here on Belle Isle doing a harvest of diseased material of diseased oaks that died from oak wilt, and removing them so that they won't spread the infection any further into some of the sensitive woods and the other oaks that we have on the island.
After the trees are cut, a helicopter removes them from the woods. Removal through the air helps prevent further spread of the disease.
That helicopter is lifting them directly out of the woods rather than dragging them or setting up infrastructure to move them out of this sensitive area as we would have done in a typical timber operation. What that helicopter is doing is just taking them one piece at a time, removing them very carefully from the woods, and then putting them in a different position so that we can then process that material.
Harvested trees that are infected with oak wilt can still be utilized for making materials, but they must be handled and managed appropriately.
What ends up happening is that with oak wilt, that disease will live on the wood, and without being processed according to specs, that wood will spread the disease unless we remove the outer inch or 2 inch of the cambium in order to remove the fungus. So we're removing them to a different location where they'll then be processed, and then that wood can be used, but we do have to be sure that it's handled appropriately, that we remove any disease causing or any disease spreading agent from that material before it's used.
112 diseased oak trees were removed from Belle Isle during this operation. The DNR was first made aware of the issue by visitors to the state park, who noticed the leaves that started to wilt and turn brown in the middle of the summer. These trees usually died within 1 to 2 weeks after first showing symptoms of oak wilt. Much of the work done during this operation was done with the idea of protecting one tree in particular.
We actually have the largest Shumard oak in the state within these woods. So that Shumard oak measures about 63 inches in diameter at what we call breast height, so around 4.5 feet off the ground. Very large tree, probably well over 200 years old, that's a part of this forested system. So that's the reason why we're taking these extra steps to make sure that we're very cautious and protective of this habitat.
While patrolling Jabby Nuner, Michigan Conservation Officer Joe Deppen spent most of his time working from a jet ski with the maneuverable craft. One task that kept him rather busy was keeping the fire lane open to the island where a large crowd had gathered.
You guys gotta be outside the buoys, the fire lane. Outside the buoys.
So the fire lane is a big issue today. We found a clear path into Gull Island, so if there's a medical emergency on the island, we have a lane set up that we can, ingress and egress out of. It came very crowded today. People kind of disregarded the buoys and they would just come across. They bring floats in there, they bring boats in. We spend a good majority of our day escorting people out of there. No tickets were written for it, but just let them know this is emergency lane only. Please stay clear.
Sir, you make it outside the buoys, this whole fire lane. You guys,
They can walk it in?
you can walk it in, just go outside the buoys. You guys gotta go outside the buoys.
As the day progressed, the sunny skies turned gray. Then a brief but strong storm passed through that included strong winds and hail.
Right now we're high out, heading to a distress call. It sounds like 2 boats ran into each other adrift and someone shot up a flare. So it's just north of Gull Island, which is where we were for Jabby Nuner. But we're not sure how many officers are still in the water because of the weather.
When the officers returned to the large gathering of vessels, they encountered some upset people, many of them because boats had collided during the storm.
I know. Okay, I understand that. I only have a knife on me. That boat right there crashed into these guys. These guys seem heavily intoxicated as well.
Haven't contacted LAPD.
What do you need, just MC numbers or what?
We're not taking anything right now because it's just too much.
You got a lot of people yelling at you that want help to pull their boat out because it's banging into another boat, but it's not putting anybody in immediate danger. It's causing boat damage, but there's also people that are getting pinched in between the boats and actually need help now. And that's definitely what our priority was when that's going down. It's people first, property later.
Ma'am, is he conscious? Okay.
Coast Guard, good, you copy?
What happened? Okay, is he breathing? He got banged up? All right, I'll see if I can get someone out here to take him off.
We're trying to get next to a boat. We got 2 missing girls, so stand by.
It's the fourth Friday in June, and some of Michigan's conservation officers are working an event called Jabby Nuner. In Michigan's District 9, it's a party on and around a small island with hundreds and sometimes even thousands of boats. Following an afternoon storm, the officers have several issues to attend to, as the storm caused some of the boaters to lose control of their vessels.
Semi-conscious male, but needed medical assistance. Coast Guard boat is still around. We were able to flash down. The Coast Guard come over for assistance to grab that individual and bring him back on board. You guys have a fight?
The boat Aqua Blue.
Yeah.
There's the lead salt. The guy jumped on the boat behind him, on the line. So they're still pretty upset, but they're got lines in the props. So they're not going anywhere. And we'll go over there and talk to them, see if we can make a report, figure out what the guy wants to do. But I'm just pretty much focused on getting people out of the water right now.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of boat damage.
So this boat is tangled up. You're dead in the water right now.
Not my boat.
Whose boat is this?
Max, he's up front. He's up front trying to untangle.
So we can get out of here.
Okay, well, I got reports from that boat that you guys rammed into their boat.
Did you know why? They're dead in the water, sir. Oh, the wind was blowing up. They were not under power. Not under power, they're drifting, dead in the water.
The water this year has been high all around. So from Harrison Township all the way to Gull Island to St. Clair Shores up into St. Clair County, the water's been extremely high. So it affects the way, you know, people who were here a year ago or 2 years ago who used to jump in and they could touch bottom. You can't do that anymore. They just drop right to the bottom, and then the water's between 55 and 60 degrees, so it's pretty cold. And with these high water levels, people, you know, they'll go swimming more than standing.
We got more rescues right now we're trying to deal with, get people out of the water first, and then we'll come back and deal with the crashes. Yep. But I'll get their information too. I got your MC numbers as well. We had people flag us down for, you know, someone collided in their boat, you know, just destruction to the windows and whatnot. But we want to take care of the medical cases first. You know, that's our priority. We want to get people out of the water. We don't know what the condition is for them at that time. So that's what probably most of the chaos was like out there at that time. You know, we got the Coast Guard on the radio. We have us COs on our own radio channel as well. Plus we have whoever else is out there at the time assisting with the event. So we want to make sure everybody else is safe first. So we got our boat right here pulling two ladies on board. Officer Lasher and Officer Robert were on the safe boat. He actually came down to do a slow no wake patrol, but ended up joining our patrol, our group patrol, and assisted with grabbing people out of water. We had a bunch of boats that collided. I had to do a bunch of reports. We did give most of the reports to the Township Police Department for them to take responsibility for that.
Should I proceed to shore or should I wait here? I have extreme damage to my vessel.
The weather impacted this dramatically. You know, it changed everything. Boats were flying into each other. As you guys were able to tell, it was chaos there for about a half hour, 45 minutes as far as people asking for help.
I've got the St. Clair County Sheriff right behind me and the dive team right in front of me helping to keep me stable until you arrive.
So it was definitely a unique situation for us this time. It's not usually like that. It's a little bit more abundant of fights and alcohol issues that we have on the water, but nothing like this to this extent where we actually have to pull people out of the water this much.
You're really exposed out on the island, and so if there's a storm coming in, you're either gonna put up the canvas on your boat or go below deck. If you're on a jet ski or if you're on a vessel that doesn't have a lot of coverage, you're gonna head for a safe harbor, which is gonna be like some of the marinas to the north, or you're gonna tuck into the leeward side of the island.
That was the best missing persons report I've had.
You go find him around the boat?
No, he got before the storm came in, he swam on another boat and he's back in Harrison Township on land with all of his cell phone IDs and everything here, and they never knew where he was. It's a good ending.
Nice. I got a rainbow for you, just for you. Things started slowing down, but a lot of the boats from the island left and decided to go back home and go to shore, which is obviously good for us. We did hang out for a while longer just to make sure everything was safe and we weren't needed anymore at the time.
Stay safe, be smart, and know your limits.
This week on Wardens, Michigan conservation officers in District 4 patrol anglers targeting king salmon during the fall spawning run.
When we're sitting here watching, it's very easy to spot the guy that's not playing by the rules.
And to look inside one of the 6 state-run fish hatcheries that raises 3 species of salmon.
We grow almost 120,000 pounds of fish annually right now.
Wild animals and wild places. They're more than a picture. They're inspiration, excitement, and adventure. Patrolling and protecting these natural resources is a first-class band of peace officers. These are the Wardens, dedicated to the preservation of our great outdoors. With tens of thousands of miles of rivers and streams, the state of Michigan offers wide and varied options for men, women, and children to go fishing. In Michigan's District 4, Lieutenant Jason Wickland and Sergeant Dan Bigger are observing anglers on the Betsy River in Benzie County in early September. During most years, on this section of the Betsy, the salmon season is open year-round. But the most popular time to target king salmon is during the fall spawning run in September and October. Lieutenant Wickland and Sergeant Bigger have permission to be on private property above the river to watch the fishing activity in and along the river. They know that the fish numbers in the river have been increasing each day.
The Betsy River holds king salmon, which are natural run salmon, and so we've really been trying to up our patrols here to make sure that people are utilizing the proper techniques for catching these salmon. They aren't trying to snag them or take them illegally, either by using illegal gear or by fishing where they're not supposed to be. We have a 100-foot rule from the local dam here, which is in Homestead Dam.
After making their way down from the parking lot above the Homestead Dam, it doesn't take long for Lieutenant Wickland and Sergeant Bigger to spot fishing techniques consistent with snagging.
Yeah, that guy with no shirt in the field and stream waders, he's still ripping through the holes, but he's moved down closer to where I'm at now. Yeah, he's got green waders, no shirt, yellow fishbowl.
The COs watch the anglers in this section of the river for more than an hour and pinpoint 2 fishermen that they want to talk to.
I see 2 down there that are ripping through the holes.
Looks like no shirt, but he's actually got a black sleeveless t-shirt underneath, brown waders. We've got the kid, the one with the blue shirt I was talking about. His hat's on backwards. He's all the way at the end of this group downstream. You ready? Let's go grab him. Hey, right here. Look to your right.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
All right. See this stuff. You got a fishing license on you?
So are my bag.
Where's your bag at?
Across.
Okay. Why don't you step up here real quick on the bank for me, all right?
All the way at the end. Not you, the guy next to you. Yep.
While Lieutenant Wickland talks to one angler, Sergeant Bigger is talking to another.
Bring your rod. Bring your rod. Just cross where it's safe. I can't see the bottom from here. If it starts to go down, don't go any further. All right. All right, do me a favor to stand right there for me if you would. Thank you, sir.
You know why I'm talking to you right now? Why I picked you out of the herd?
I do not. This is my first time coming here, so I don't know.
First time fishing, first time coming here?
Coming here.
Okay. How many times have you fished for salmon before in the rivers?
Once, my first time last week. So,
okay. So out of all these people, why do you think we picked out you?
I don't know.
Give me a guess.
I really don't know.
When you're casting and you're ripping that line through the water, what are you trying to do?
Oh, I'm just trying to get it off so it doesn't like hook up on anything.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just trying to like, I'm not trying to like rip it on there. I know you can't use treble hooks.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, what you're doing is snagging. You're
pulling
the line through the water using a sweeping, jerking motion. Okay. Trying to hook into a fish, and you've already obviously hooked 2 fish doing that, right?
I didn't.
And you let them both go, correct?
Yeah, I know. You can't.
Okay.
You gotta be hooked in the mouth.
You gotta be hooked in the mouth, but the way you're fishing, you're making it easier to hook fish illegally by doing that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're not giving the fish an opportunity to take it in their mouth. You're ripping it through the holes, and that way you're snagging fish wherever they're lying in there. They're not actively pursuing your bait. You're targeting them with your hook when you're doing that. You understand?
Well, I'm just trying to like, get it out of the way.
But you understand, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You ever been in trouble with DNR before?
No.
Okay. You haven't kept any fish then, right?
No.
You just hooked 2 fish so far? Okay.
The reason I'm pulling you out of the water is your technique. The way every time you were going, you were jerking the rod. As soon as you saw me, you changed. Okay?
Yeah.
You know what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You can't do that. Okay? No, the fish have to be able to take the hook in the mouth. If you're doing this, they can't take that in the mouth. You're trying to hit them in the back or something like that. You can't do that. Is there a reason why you were doing it?
I was feeling bottom, lifting up. Trying to get it unsnagged off the bottom.
This is a rocky bottom, so you shouldn't be snagging too much on that. Do you have ID with you?
Yeah.
Clear, thanks. You telling me you didn't have any DNR priors? Never been in trouble with the DNR before?
Lieutenant Jason Wickland and Sergeant Dan Bigger are patrolling salmon anglers on the Betsy River in the northwest corner of Michigan's Lower Peninsula. Shortly after starting their shift, they make contact with 2 anglers who they witnessed attempting to snag fish.
Clear, thanks. You telling me you didn't have any DNR priors? Never been in trouble with the DNR before? What about Jackson County?
Oh, for the deer hunting license?
Yeah, no deer hunting license, and use somebody else's tag, right?
Yeah, I have a fishing license over there.
No, I checked. You have a fishing license, but when I told you to ask if you ever been in trouble before, you said no.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
That was a long time ago.
No, all right. You understand what you're doing wrong, though, right?
Yeah, I understand.
That you're creating an artificial advantage for you by ripping that hook through those holes. Okay.
All right.
Fish has to take its own free will. You can't rip a hook through there.
You can't, like, if you snag it.
And you've snagged 2 fish, obviously, so you obviously know that. Well,
I know you can't snag.
Your method's not cutting it, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to get a citation. I'm not going to seize your gear. I could take your pole. I could take you to jail too, but I'm not going to do that. That's okay. You're just going to get a simple ticket, and you're going to correct your behavior from here on out, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Because all these people here know we're here now, so they're all going to behave themselves.
I heard some of the smart ass remarks here.
All right. Okay.
Are you familiar with the hook regulations?
No.
Okay. So the hook regulations are the 1/2 inch from point to shank.
Oh, really?
If I had to guess, I'm going to guess that might be a little big.
A little big?
What do you think that is?
Bigger.
You think it is?
Yeah.
I do too. I do too. All right, so we'll measure it real quick just so we can get an idea. Okay. Point to shank.
He's over half. Yes.
Here's your 1/2 inch mark, right?
Yeah.
You're well over that.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Agreed?
I agreed.
All right.
In addition to attempting to snag fish, one fisherman is also using an illegal hook.
It's your responsibility. Even if you get snagged up on something, that hook opens up, you got to change it out. Okay. There's a reason for that. These are natural reproducing fish.
Yeah.
So anything larger than that, when you snag them and stuff, causes them stress.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Okay. So is there any other rules then that I'm going to need to be aware of? I know that snagging. Any other?
As far as
like anything like limit and all that, isn't it 3 or 5? I think it's 3 over.
3 over what? I'm gonna know this stuff, okay? It's like driving. You gotta know the rules before you drive the car, right?
Isn't it 15 inches?
Okay.
Okay. 3 over 15 and 5 total, I think.
Are you listening to this?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, all these people out here, I mean, you guys all got to be on the same page, right? Okay?
Right.
Because when we're sitting here watching, it's very easy to spot the guy that's not playing by the rules.
Yeah.
And here you are, okay?
In this case, for snagging fish, the fisherman that Lieutenant Wickland spoke with paid a court-ordered fine of $265.
It's been 5 years since your last DNR contact, so let's not have any more contacts, okay?
Yeah.
All right?
Trying to do that.
You're still a young guy.
Yep.
Okay.
Can I have my knife as well?
Yep, I'll give that to you in a second. There you go. Okay. Be an example of what to do out there, what not to do, okay?
All right. Thank you,
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
The fisherman that Sergeant Bigger cited paid court-ordered fines of $265 for each charge of attempting to snag fish and for using an illegal hook, resulting in a total payment of $530.
You don't have any DNR priors or anything like that, which means you've never been in trouble with us before. You seem like a decent guy, you just made some bad choices.
Yeah, well, second year, like, I knew a little bit. I knew, like, a little bit of the rules.
Yeah.
But I didn't know it was hook size or anything like that.
Okay, so make sure you know that, and especially up here with these rivers, we have a couple different rivers with hook sizes and regulations on them. It's this one and the Platte. Both of them are really close to each other. So anytime you're on any of these rivers, just make sure all those rivers up there, they're listed right in the fishing guide. And you can go right down the list and it'll say what the restrictions are for them. It lists them all out.
In addition to keeping an eye on the fishing methods of those targeting salmon, Lieutenant Wickland and Sergeant Bigger also won't hesitate to write tickets to trespassers who are on the private land adjacent to the river without authorization. In fact, the landowner, who had been more lenient towards anglers during previous fishing seasons, made sure to meticulously post his property and sought out conservation officers to request that they enforce the recreational trespass law to discourage people from illegally entering upon his land.
When the fish came in, he actually found our truck in the parking lot and actually found us out on the trails. Specifically asked us if we could enforce the recreational trespass. In the past, he had let people use his land, but in the last couple of years, he's put up a lot of no trespassing signs. We've had a lot of problems with people damaging the trees, the lands around it, camping, starting fires, leaving trash. We want to be good stewards to not only the land, but to the landowners that are adjacent to the state lands.
Over here. And drop your fish.
Yes.
Once you guys get your IDs and your fishing licenses out.
Okay.
If you guys have them, okay?
Yep.
A lot of work dragging these big fish back, right, isn't it?
Oh, it's a lot, man.
How long you been up here for?
Just today.
Just today? When you going back tonight or what?
Yes,
okay.
definitely.
Come on up here. Fishing license and IDs, sir. You guys put in the river and walked all the way down?
We did that all the way down and was fishing there. And just came back.
Okay. This is all private property though. Okay.
Okay.
As you head back towards the parking lot, you're going to see all sorts of yellow trespassing signs. Okay. The owner of this property has made sure that he's marked this very well because he doesn't want people coming through here.
Okay.
And you notice all the trash that's laying on the ground and
Yes.
stuff. So just think of it as if it was your property. Would you want a bunch of bottles and cans and stuff and people wandering through your property? No. Okay. I know this is easier than wading back up through the river, but it's illegal to do, okay? Unless there's an obstacle or there's a deep hole or a bridge or some kind of navigation hazard that you can't get through, you can leave, go around it, go back in the water, you understand? So who's, I'm not gonna write every one of you guys a ticket, okay? But who's the leader of the group here coming out? Who's the first person, you?
Yeah, I just said me.
All right, so here's what I'm gonna do, okay? I'm gonna write you a ticket because everybody's following you, all right?
Okay.
And then if you guys are all gentlemen, maybe you'll kick in and help him pay his fines. Because I could write every one of you guys, all right? Because every one of you guys right now is trespassing on this guy's property, all right? And he wants us to enforce trespassing, and we're gonna enforce trespassing, okay? Does that sound fair? One ticket instead of everybody getting a ticket? How many fish you guys got? Everybody's got two?
Yep.
Okay.
One has one.
Oh, man.
They tried hard enough.
Didn't try hard enough? Fish are all hooked? Where were the fish all hooked?
Huh?
Where were the fish all hooked?
Mouth.
In the mouth?
Yes.
All the fish? There's no marks anywhere else on them? All right, just making sure, guys. Thank you for playing by the rules. You know, there's a lot of people out here that aren't. All right, guys? Yep. All right. I don't envy you carrying all those fish. Well, not you only caught one, but maybe you're the smartest guy of them all.
In this case, the fisherman pled guilty to recreational trespass and paid a court-ordered fine of $275.
Salmon fishing right now is excellent. This summer has yielded perhaps as many 30-pound king salmon as we've seen in a long time. and that's an indication that there may be improved forage out there. And so, you know, fishing's good. There's big fish to be caught.
Approximately 10 miles from where Lieutenant Jason Wickland and Sergeant Dan Bigger started their salmon patrol on the Betsy River sits the Platte River State Fish Hatchery. The Platte River Hatchery is one of 6 hatcheries in Michigan that are operated by the DNR. There are also 2 federal hatcheries in the state. The facility on the Platte River was established in 1928 and was converted to the state's main salmon hatchery in 1972.
We raise coho, Atlantic, and Chinook salmon for stocking into public waters here in the state so that fishermen can go out and target those species and have successful trips. We stock fish all around the state to provide opportunities throughout the state, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, even up into Lake Superior.
One reason the DNR started stocking Pacific salmon in and around the Great Lakes in the 1960s is that they eat alewives, an invasive species that decimated the lake trout populations of the Great Lakes. Around that time, deceased alewives would wash up on beaches and create unfit conditions for using the beaches. Another reason for introducing salmon is to assist the nearly $11 billion Great Lakes sport fishing industry. The Platte River Fish Hatchery is the primary egg take facility for coho salmon for the upper Great Lakes. In addition to collecting coho for the Michigan DNR, the Platte River facility also collects them for the DNRs of Illinois and Indiana.
Behind me we have our maturation ponds. So as fish migrate from Lake Michigan up the Platte River, they hit our upper Platte River weir here at the hatchery. They have to come up our fish ladder, and then they go, we open one pond at a time, and they go into the maturation ponds. And that's where they'll stay until it's time to be spawned in mid to late October. At that time we'll pull fish out of the ponds, bring them into our spawn building here, and do our artificial egg collection process and spawning, and then the eggs go back into the hatchery building.
After staying pretty close together to start their shifts, Lieutenant Wickland and Sergeant Bigger split up. Lieutenant Wickland stays on the side of the river where they began their patrol, and Sergeant Bigger crosses over to the other side of the Betsy River.
Watch. See it? It's every cast.
When Sergeant Bigger spots a fisherman using illegal tactics to target fish, he brings the subject to the attention of Lieutenant Wickland.
The guy with the solid yellow beanie on, first guy downstream, he's kind of standing back behind him a little bit. It's got long sleeve red. Can you see him right now?
Yellow beanie or red shirt?
Red shirt. Every cast.
All right, I can see him.
He's ripping right through. I don't know if you just saw him do that again, but it's everything. I can hear the rod from back here, just so you know.
Right, I see him.
Okay, he's exiting the water, so I don't know if you want to make contact when he's up on shore or not.
On the Betsy River, where Lieutenant Jason Wickland and Sergeant Dan Bigger are patrolling salmon anglers, the DNR doesn't stock fish because natural salmon reproduction is very good there. While working different sides of the river, Sergeant Bigger alerts Lieutenant Wickland to a fisherman whose fishing technique is highly likely to result in snagged fish. When the angler heads to shore, Lieutenant Wickland contacts him.
So we've been watching you fish for a while, and what you're doing is illegal.
What?
Okay? When you're ripping that rod back and forth like that.
Oh, some old guy taught me that trick. He just said that, he's like, when you're done, just go like this. It'll keep your stuff from going up into the logs and
That's
stuff and
snagging.
getting snagged.
That's snagging fish. Fish has to be able to take that bait at its own free will. If you rip that hook through there, that's snagging, okay?
Yes, sir.
Have you caught any fish today?
No, I don't have any on the stringer.
Have you hooked any fish?
Yes.
Where'd you hook them?
The one I've hooked 2 in the face that I landed and 2 in the tail.
So none in the mouth?
Well, no, in the mouth, yeah.
Okay, well the ones in the tail, you know, those are the ones that,
yeah,
when you're ripping.
I usually break off and just...
Well, I'm glad you're doing that, but your technique is illegal by definition, okay?
Okay, the legal limit is 5, right?
Legal limit's 5.
Okay, my buddy was asking the other day.
Okay. You know, it's just like driving. You got to know the rules before you drive, right?
Yep.
All right, just like come out here and wing it.
No,
because
perfectly understandable, because I'm one of them guys that gets mad when I come out and see guys with giant hooks. And
in this case, you listen to an old guy, then that's not going to be your benefit,
no,
okay?
That's perfectly fine.
Okay.
I'm all about being a sportsman. I just want to come out here and catch fish like the rest of the people. I don't even keep my fish. So.
Okay. Are you here by yourself?
Yes, sir.
In this case, for using an illegal fishing method to attempt to take a fish, this fisherman pled guilty and paid a court-ordered fine of $265.
So do I have to be done fishing for the day or just change how I'm fishing?
Nope. We're going to give you this ticket. You're going to change the way you fish, right?
Yep.
We publish the fishing laws. That's the advice you should be using, all right? Do you have a copy of the fishing laws with you?
No. Can I get some of those?
You have your phone, right?
Yeah.
Just go right on the DNR website and you can go ahead and pull the fishing laws up right there, okay? When in doubt, you know, look it up, okay? All these people out here, they don't have a vested interest in you. They're going to tell you whatever you want to hear.
Yes, sir.
And then, in this case, it's an expensive lesson, correct?
Yeah.
All right.
Lieutenant Wickland and Sergeant Bigger work for a couple of hours past nightfall, and then their shifts are over. But new conservation officers will take over for them, since the DNR will be on patrol for 24 hours a day during the busiest times of the salmon season.
We're estimating right now on the river there's about 350 to 400 people on the river, and quite a few. You guys, when we were up in the lot, you could see how many vehicles are coming and going. A lot of people from out of state. One of the guys today was from Mexico, a lot of guys from Georgia, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois. So a lot of people hear about it, a lot of people come up here. This is a natural run fish. It's a phenomenon that you just can't get away from. It's a good thing.